Hello, hello, hello. It is Cassandra Terry. It is Cassandra Terry, your manifesting miracle maker. And today is Mindset Monday. Today is the day where we check in with ourselves. We take a look at our mindset. We see how we're feeling, how we're thinking, how we're processing. And we look for places where we may not be doing that in a way that's in our best interest, and we decide to do something about that. We're not a victim of our thoughts. We are able to absolutely control them. So that's what we want to take a look at. Controlling those thoughts, that inner messaging that's quietly driving you, that's helping you decide what you can and can't do, what you will and won't do, what you should have and what you shouldn't have. So it's important that we tap in and that we really understand and we hear the messages that are quietly playing in our heads that affect us so profoundly throughout our lives if we don't get our hands, head, hearts around them. So on Mindset Monday, I wanted to start. Let me pull it up. I wanted to share with you guys a quote from Thomas Edison, who we know invented or people that he had access to invented many, many things. He said, in response to a question about missteps, Edison once said, I have not failed 10,000 times. I have successfully found 10,000 ways that it will not work. And you guys have probably heard me at some point in time say, I've never failed. I've either won or I've learned. And that's really what he's saying. He's found 10,000 ways that it won't work, which means he's that much closer to what will work. And so our relationship with failure is so, so important. Ask yourself, how do you think about failure? How do you respond when things do not go according to the plans that you laid out? Is that a self defeating moment where it's going to take a lot of time for you to get going again? Do you lose confidence? Does it confirm for you all the negative messages that have been playing in your head? If the answer to any of that is yes, then that just means there's some work to do. There's some opportunity for you to see and process and manage things differently going forward so that you're not limiting yourself. When you have what the world calls a failure, all it means is things didn't work out according to plan. So if you've got the right relationship, if you've got your mindset right in that moment, there's so much opportunity. That's when you want to ask yourself, why? Why didn't things work out as I planned? What have I learned? What adjustments do I need to make? What do I do differently now that I have this new knowledge so that I get closer to accomplishing what it is that I'm after? I talk about all the time the people that we see, the people who are most successful, those quote unquote overnight successes, it's rare that it's overnight. Those folks have been working and striving and giving up things that we take for granted and enjoy. I use my daughter as an example. My family was big Destiny's Child fans. And when she was just in high school, actually, she may have been in middle school, when Destiny's Child went on their farewell tour and they did their show in Houston, we took the girls. My husband and I took the girls, and my youngest daughter decided that she wasn't going to go. She wasn't going to go to the concert because she had obligations at school. She had things that she was committed to. That's sacrifice. Those are the types of things that are happening all the time. Those are the types of things that are happening all the time in the lives of people who we see as successful. We admire, we want what they've accomplished, but are we willing to do the work that it's going to take to have it? Are we willing to give up tickets to our favorite concert so that we can lock in on an assignment? Are we willing to say no to things that will pull us away from the goals that we have set for ourselves? Are we willing to do what's necessary? Those overnight successes, I guarantee you, those people have years and years, sometimes decades of hard work and doors slammed in their faces and no's. They've experienced all those things and they've absorbed them, they've adjusted, and they've kept moving forward until it was their turn, until the right formula, things came together at the right time, and boom, to us, the newest overnight success appeared. So don't be so hard on yourself. Don't feel like if you haven't done it yet, if you're not having the success that you, it's over for you. It doesn't mean that at all. It just means that it hasn't happened yet. Learn that word yet and hang on to it. Use it every time you're coming up on something new. There's something that you haven't accomplished yet. It doesn't mean that you can't. It just means that you haven't experienced that success yet. And if you keep moving forward, if you keep working, if you keep doing what's required, your day will come. You will be that next overnight success that, as people are talking about, you're laughing in the background. If they only knew. If they only knew what it took for me to get to this place. And I encourage you to give yourself that type of grace and that type of good job right now, because wherever you are right now, you're not where you were. You've done some things, you've accomplished some things, you said no to some things that you wanted to do, but you knew they weren't going to get you where you wanted to go. So that's something to be celebrated. We have to learn to celebrate ourselves. We talked about, I think, on Friday, encouraging ourselves. It's a must, because the cheer of the crowd is not always going to be there. So, can you pick yourself up? Can you dust yourself off? Can you do what's necessary for you to keep moving forward in the face of quote unquote failure? Failure is just an opportunity to learn and to adjust. And as long as you take a lesson from that situation, you have not failed. You've learned. And you take that learning and you implement it into what you're already doing, and you allow it to move you forward. Most of us, we allow failure to get us stuck. We get stuck in that moment. We beat ourselves up. We say negative things to ourselves that we would never say to another human being. I knew I couldn't do it. I didn't deserve it anyway. Nobody who looks like me ever accomplishes this thing. And we talk ourselves out of our own destiny. If it's burning inside of you, if it's something that you really want to accomplish, it's there for a reason. It's there for a reason. That's a gift that's been planted inside of you that you are uniquely designed to give to the world. But you got to step up and walk in that gift. You have to believe that it belongs to you. You have to believe that you can accomplish it. And there are people that are waiting, there are people that are desperate for your gift. Whatever it is, there is someone who's looking. Hello, Gabby. Good afternoon, Cliff. Thanks for joining. There are people who are absolutely looking for what it is that you have to offer. You're somebody's way over. You're someone's encouragement. Seeing your life and hearing your story will give someone else the encouragement that they need, that they can do it too. So, whatever it is inside of you, whatever it is that's burning, that thing that you want so badly that you may not even have the courage to say out loud, say it out loud. Tell somebody that you trust. Hopefully, we all have at least one trusted advisor, that one person that we can share our hopes, our dreams, our goals with. And that person will cheer you on, and they'll call you on your stuff when you're not operating from a place that's going to help you be successful. We all need that one person that'll say, hey, you said this is what you wanted. There's no way you're going to get it if you keep doing this. You're pushing yourself backwards, and remind you of who you are and what it is that you want to accomplish, but able to do it in a way that you know is constructive and is designed to encourage you and help you to stay on track. There's plenty of people who's looking for the opportunity to beat us up. I'm not talking about that person. I'm not talking about the person who delights in you not getting what it is you're setting yourself up for, what you're going for. But that person who wants to see you win almost as bad as you do, and they're there and they're encouraging and they're reminding you of your goals, and they want to walk that walk with you. That person is invaluable. When you have that person in your life, realize who they are, keep them close, let them know how much you appreciate them, and heed their advice. Let them know that their advice is appreciated. Let them know that you need it, that it keeps you moving forward. We all need those people who can encourage and convict us of what it is we say that we want to accomplish. So today's topic was really all about your relationship with the word failure. And I say the word failure because failure in and of itself, I don't really think is that much of a thing. It's a learning opportunity. It's an opportunity. I work in information technology, and in Agile we call it iterations. We do small bits of information, and we turn out new functionality for our customers on a regular schedule, 2 or 3 weeks. It's real fast, but it allows us to get our stuff in the customer's hands right away, get feedback, and before we've committed too big of an effort, we can adjust, we can iterate. So they're called iterations. So we iterate every 2 to 3 weeks based on the feedback that we're getting from our customer base. And our lives can be just like that. When you hit something and you get the feedback that's not what you wanted, you don't throw out the product. We put too much time, energy, effort, resources into creating what it is that we create. So you don't throw it away because you got a bad review. You also don't ignore the bad review. Oh, that's just a hater, and throw it away. What can I learn from what this person is saying? Even if they are just a hater, even if they are just trying to get under my skin, is there anything that I can learn from this feedback? It may not have been given from a right spirit, but maybe there's something that I can learn so that I can iterate, so that I can do something different, so that I can take a different approach. That's what we're looking for. Information is power. So use that information, allow it to enrich whatever it is that you're doing. You take the good, you take the bad, you adjust accordingly to what's going on. Okay, this audience here is telling me what's working. They show up consistently, and here's the feedback that I get. These people came in, they were only here for a little bit, and they dropped this note. They didn't like what it was I was talking about. Maybe they're just not my people. Maybe they're just not my audience. That could be true. But in the comment that they left, is there something that I could get from it that could make me better? If we have that type of an attitude, we create a safe place first for people to give us honest feedback. And most people are not comfortable giving feedback that's anything other than positive, unless they're the people who I'm just honest all the time. And usually those are people who are punching you in the gut, these overly honest people. Are you being honest or are you being hurtful? Because your same message could have been delivered in a way that was uplifting and didn't step on somebody's throat. So I'm not a big proponent of this. I'm honest to a fault. Well, if you're at a fault, you probably need to do something different. So think about the information that's coming your way. If you keep hitting the same wall, you obviously know that it's there because you keep running into it. But what can you learn from that wall? Do you need to go faster so that you can run through it? Do you need to step to the left so you can go around it? Do you need to wear different shoes so that you're able to climb it? What's the wall telling you that you need to do differently? Don't get upset with the wall. Don't get mad. What can I learn from this situation? What is this wall teaching me that I can use the next time I approach this point in my life? The next time I experience this thing, the next time I have this type of situation, what can I do differently? That's what quote unquote failures can do for us. It'll tell us how to get farther down the road the next time if we make the adjustments. The warning signs are always there. There's traffic signs everywhere. Turn right, turn left. There's a detour. Those signs are there. And those of us that are wise heed those signs. I was on my way to work just the other day, and there was construction going on, and the whole side, one whole lane was completely blocked, and the road was actually torn up. You could only go so far before you drove off into a ditch. And and a car missed the signs and didn't get over and stayed in that lane and drove right up to all those construction workers. And all of a sudden you hear chaos, hysteria. They're blowing the horn, they're trying to get this person to stop, and now they've got to back up and unsafely maneuver back into traffic to try and get on the right course again. That was a failure, but hopefully they learned. The next time they come up on that intersection, at least I would expect that they're going to know to get over. But the larger lesson is not to get over when you get to that intersection. The larger lesson is to pay attention to the signs that are posted. Don't get so focused that you miss all the information that's going on around you, because that information can be valuable to you making the adjustments necessary to get where it is that you're trying to go. If they hadn't stopped that car was going off and into a ditch. Who knows what it was going to take for them to get back on course after that. And that's what life can be like. We make wrong turns, we miss signs, we do whatever it is that we're going to do. But we have to be like that car. All right, I missed it this time. I'm going to hit reverse. I'm going to carefully back my way out of this harmful situation, this potentially harmful situation, and I'm going to get back into the flow of my life. We can do that. We do it all the time, but we don't always think about the changes and the adjustments and these iterations that we make all the time. When you stop and think about your life, and whether it's been smooth sailing, rocky roads, lots of hills, lots of valleys, whatever it has been, you've accomplished it to this date. You've climbed the mountains, you've been in the ravine and you found your way out. You've enjoyed the smooth sailing. Whatever your life has brought you, you have been able to travel that path. And that should be encouraging to you. That should tell you that whatever shows up next, you're able to accomplish that as well. And that's the mindset that I'm encouraging you to take on. If you take on that mindset, I may not like this detour. I may not like the scenery around me. I may not even like what that sign says. I really don't want to go there. But whether or not we like it is not the point. The point is this information valuable to your journey? Will this information help you get where it is you're trying to go? And if the answer is yes, you got to take it in. Because in taking it in, you smooth out things for yourself. You're operating with more information than what you started with, so you can make better choices. You know which way to move, you know which lane you need to be in. So that's the power of your mindset. That car could have got upset. They could have thrown themselves into park. They could have got out and got into arguments with the people waving the signs at them. They had a lot of choices. But I saw them realize their mistake, hit reverse, and slowly start backing up as safely as they could to merge back into traffic. How do you handle life when you take a wrong turn? We all do it. You have to acknowledge it for yourself. I'm not saying you need to put up a billboard, just took a wrong turn, but acknowledge it for yourself and spend a little bit of time thinking about it. How did I make that wrong turn? How did I miss that big blinking light telling me to get over? How did I miss that? And in learning about yourself and in learning about how you got where you are, it will enable you to make a better choice and a more conscious choice, be more aware in the future. That's what the mistakes in life do for us. They teach us. They really, really do. Cliff said failure is a part of life, is how you handle the ups and downs. That's what matters. We're never going to live a life that's foolproof. We will not live a life where there's no failures. If you are not failing, you're probably not trying hard enough. You're not stretching yourself. You're not doing things differently. You're staying in a really safe place inside your comfort zone. And I've heard people say before, I'm not sure who actually was this quote belongs to, but someone said failure, comfort and progress cannot coexist. You're not gonna find them in the same place. If you're comfortable, you may be doing what it is that you're doing and doing that well, and that's fine. But if you actually want to progress, if you want to stretch yourself, if you want to learn new skills, if you want to do something differently, you're going to have to get uncomfortable. And you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's a note to self. I love being comfortable. I love knowing what I'm talking about. I love having the answer, all that good stuff. It feels good. It is so uncomfortable. I'm starting a new position. Lord have mercy. And all I'm doing is just drink. It feels like I'm drinking from a fire hose. There's so much knowledge that I need to take in order to do my job, because they're looking for me to tell them how some things should be. In order for me to explain how things should be, I've got to first understand how they are. I've got to understand what's happening right now, and then take that and overlay with my area of expertise so that we can build a good plan. But if I just go in making changes for the sake of making changes, I will probably be like that car and end up all over the place. So right now, I'm just taking in all this information. They're paying me to be the expert, and I feel like anything but, because I don't know what's happening. I don't know how they put all this together. There's so much more to learn than what I know. But I've been here before. This is temporary chaos, temporary discomfort, and then I'll do what I always do. I'll take it all in. I'll figure it out. I'll spend some time thinking about how I think it should be laid out, and I'll present that plan. Some of it they'll like, some of it they may not, and we'll iterate. We'll make adjustments until we get the program that we're looking to build in place. That's what I do. So I have to get comfortable being uncomfortable, because as soon as I get comfortable, as soon as I get to the point to where I feel like I've just got it all together and things are clicking, that's when the next problem crops up and they say, "Hey, we need you to focus over here now." So now I need to go and learn that thing. So there's so much opportunity out there if you're willing to be uncomfortable, if you're willing to have your dance with quote unquote failure. I am going to make some mistakes because I'm in a completely new space. Learning all the acronyms is it's just that feels like a full-time job, learning to speak the language that they're speaking, because every job has its own set of acronyms and ways that they talk about things. So just learning that language in and of itself is a job. I know I'm going to make mistakes, but as I'm making those mistakes, I'm learning, I'm iterating, I'm getting better. And then I'll be able to give them what they're asking for, a plan to get where we all are trying to go. How are we going to accomplish this goal? So understand that you won't get every decision absolutely right. Make peace with that on the front end. And then when you don't, ask yourself, okay, what should I do differently? What is this teaching me? What am I learning from this? And then you make the necessary adjustments and you keep moving forward. If you have that mindset, you will never fail, ever. I don't care if you get the results or not. You may not get the results that you anticipated right away, but if you learned, you didn't fail. So you either win or you learn. And I'm challenging you guys to grab that attitude. You grab an attitude where failure is just not a part of the program. I either win or I learn. And then when I learn, I adjust. I don't just gain the knowledge. I was listening to Mike Todd yesterday, Pastor Mike Todd, and he was talking about the difference between knowledge and wisdom, and there was a third word I'm forgetting right now. But knowledge is just having a whole bunch of information, knowing information. It was knowledge, and then the other one was actually acting on the information. And wisdom, but wisdom is taking the right steps with the knowledge that you have to accomplish what it is that you're after. And so we're working on our wisdom. We want to be wise. And part of becoming wise is learning from the things that didn't work out exactly the way we thought they would. If we could just think everything into existence, this life would be easy. But we're going to make mistakes along the way, and those missteps are our best teachers. We learn more when we're in the fire than we'll ever learn when things are easy. Because when things are easy, we're just going along. You don't even have to think about it much. But when things start to come unglued, that's when you find out what you're really made of. I know I've had to learn. I've had over these last couple of weeks, I've just had so many moments where my default, I wanted to be just hard on myself. And I wanted to, and I would get frustrated. But because I do this mental work and check in with myself many, many times throughout the day, I had to do it just this morning. I was frustrated, and I wanted to say to myself, "Girl, if you would just da da da," I was ready to go in and give myself a good talking to, and I had to stop and I had to think, and it's like, all right, are you going to push forward, or gonna let this stop you? What decision are you going to make? Because it's a decision. And the sooner we realize that we're making these decisions all the time, the better we get at being in control of them and not having them just lead us along. I had a decision to make. Am I going to keep pushing forward and do what's necessary? Or am I going to sit here and brood for a while and just be frustrated? I decided to keep pushing forward. I don't always make the right decision. I'm still just as human as everybody else. So I have my good days and I have my bad days. But my good days, I'm typically more tapped in to what's going on in here. I am hearing that inner voice and I'm rewriting the negative messages as they come up. I'm making a choice not to live my life on autopilot, not to just be a part of what's happening, but actually have some stake, some control of what's happening because I'm tapped in, I'm present, I'm aware. And we all can make those choices. We all can absolutely make those choices. I see somebody on IG, um, Harbred's thoughts. Failures are a learning experience. They absolutely are. And that's the message I wanted to make sure we got out today, if nothing else. It's a learning experience. It's an opportunity to grow. It's an opportunity to make a different choice so that when you run up against the same wall the next time, you know how to tackle it. That's what mistakes teach us. They help us become wiser. Let's see, what did you say, Sonia? I just experienced this very thing. I created a team to help cure arthritis for a walk. Never did I expect to achieve the goals I set for the fundraiser, nor the amount of support. Once I was informed I met my goal, it's like I still did not believe it or accept it. Yes, ma'am. Believe it and accept it. You did that. And so when you get ready to do it again or something similar, remember that experience. Remember, I didn't even really believe in myself, but I stepped out there anyway and I tried to do something. And look at what the results are. More money was raised for a foundation that you really believe in. People came together and worked together to accomplish something. So you created community. So it's so much more than the original goal that happens when we put ourselves out there and just let go and go for it. Even if you hadn't hit the goal, you still would have brought people together. You still would have earned money for that organization. So even if it didn't work out the way that it did, because I happen to know that you hit that goal out the park and accomplished even more than what you're saying there. But knowing that even if you'd fallen short, that organization still would have been better for your efforts. You still would have been better for organizing something that size and pulling people together and working for a common cause. So even in things not working out the way we want, there's goodness in it if we allow ourselves to see it. So in Sonia's case, it was goodness all around. She learned something about herself. She learned something about her community, the people, and she learned what she could accomplish when she pulled a team of people together. And an organization is better for it because they have those funds that they raised. So don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Don't be afraid that if I try, I may fail. You absolutely may. But what if you don't? You may not. And if things don't work out exactly the way you want, it still doesn't mean you failed because you've learned something along the way, right? And you can adjust and you can do better. You can do things differently the next time. And that's what the journey is all about. So let me see if I missed anybody else's comments. Cliff said, "You are growing by learning this new information, and with growth comes growing pains." Oh my goodness. I've got a grandson who's about 10 months old and he's going through all kinds of growing pains. He finally learned how to he's crawling, he's sitting up, pulling up, trying to learn how to walk. His teeth are coming in, so he's fighting fevers and discomfort there. So he and his mom are really going through the ringer. But we know on the other side of all of that, he'll be walking. He'll be talking. He'll be able to eat solid food because those teeth will be in. Growing pains are real. But if you look at them for what they are and realize that it's a part of our transformation, it's a part of the next level, you get through it. It helps you to manage the pain. It helps you to manage it. So that's it for today. Let me reread you guys Thomas Edison's let me see if I can find it again. His quote was I did not, I don't see it, but I kind of remember it. He said, when he was asked about his inventions that didn't work out, about how often, excuse me, he failed. He said, I did not fail 10,000 times. I found 10,000 ways that it didn't work. That's the growth mindset. That's the mindset that says I will keep trying. I will learn from this experience, learn from what didn't go as I planned, and make the adjustments and go and keep going, keep moving forward. And that's the challenge on this Mindset Monday. What Think about what's burning inside of you. Think about, it may have been something that you wanted to do ever since you were a little person. That's kind of how our dreams and our callings and things happen. They just kind of just stay, and sometimes they're really quiet, sometimes they're burning hot, but they're there and they never really leave us. If you've got that thing inside of you, something that just won't go away, a desire, but you're afraid of what might happen. Fear is the basis of all of our self-limiting beliefs. We fear failure. What if I can't do it? We fear success. What if I accomplish it, but then I can't handle all the extra responsibilities that go along with it? We fear being made fun of. People would ridicule me and laugh at me if they had any idea I was even thinking about something like this. All that fear. And that fear is playing in our heads and telling us no when we really should go. And so when you deal with that inner voice, the voice within wins. And that's why I tell people all the time, if you can get in touch, tap into that inner voice and hear what it's saying and how you're feeling about yourself, what you deserve and what you're capable of. If you get a hold of that, everything else will start to fall into place. The things that you saw as obstacles will fall away. The things that you thought were impossibilities, you'll start breaking them down piece by piece and making progress towards them. So if you haven't got taken my free course, Transforming Your Inner Critic into Your Inner Advocate, I encourage you to do so. Most of you guys on social media will find it either in my bio, or it's pinned as a comment on your platform. But if you don't see it, make it easy on yourself and just DM me, and I'll send it right over to you. It will begin the process of tapping into that inner voice, doing the work that you need to do so that you are out of your own way and you're pushing yourself forward. You are cheering yourself on. You're encouraging yourself when everybody else is quiet, because your dream only belongs to you. So you can't be surprised. You can't be upset when you've got this great big idea and people are telling you no, they don't see it, they don't get it. A lot of times it's because it's not their dream. Because it's not their dream, sometimes they can't tap in. And a lot of times when people are telling you no, it's not because they don't believe in you. It's not because they want to see you fail. It's because they have their own fear and they can only see the world so big, and you're standing outside of what it is they're able to see. So sometimes they're just not able to get there with you. That's why it's so important that you are your own best advocate. So take the course, Transforming Your Inner Critic into Your Inner Advocate, and that can begin our relationship from a coachy perspective. You'll get a little bit of a feel of how I coach and the things that I share. It costs you nothing but time, and it's a mini course, so you can get through it in about half an hour to an hour or so, depending on how much uninterrupted time you have. And then if you like what you see there, we can talk about other ways that we might be able to connect. Cliff said, hello, Lenora. Cliff said, my prayer is to God is for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. The second part is to direct my steps and everything I should do. Place the people you want in my life in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. That's a perfect way for us to end our time together today. You guys go off and have a wonderful rest of your Monday. I will be back tomorrow at 7:15 Central Daylight Time for Transformation Tuesday, where we tackled the topic of change, transformation. So we will talk again tomorrow. You guys have a great rest of your day. Thanks for joining in, everybody. Bye-bye.